He wasn't much of a
government. He was there to help.
But anyway, he couldn't figure it. And the boy Dad said, I'll never go into program. And I don't think he ever went in program again.
So when Dad says the program,
Government program.
So to get any government subsidies, you have to be in the program.
Sign it.
So in my opinion, government subsidies is a way of the federal government buying information. That's kind of one way I look at it. There are certain subsidies I don't agree with. I really don't like any of them. But I think that they use that to buy information. For example, for that crop insurance, to take out crop insurance, you have to certify your acres at the federal government office, which is the FSA office. If you ever see an FSA building, Farm Service Agency, that's what that stands for. In order to get crop insurance, we have to go in there after we plant. They have maps of all of our fields. We tell them where we planted what and when we planted it. And that is how the government kind of gets a handle on trade numbers. They know how many bushels are out there per year based on how many acres of corn were planted. And this is the average for the last few years because you got to report that crap to your insurance agent. So that's kind of how I look at subsidies. It's just them buying information.
Yeah, and in the olden days, it's not like it is today. In the olden days, you had base acres. Like say you had a 100-acre base. If you planted 200 acres corn, you didn't get paid for that. And the biggest thing on that,
How did that go away? That was in the last 10 years, wasn't it?
Oh, that's went away for,
I can remember base acres being a big thing.
No, not like back then, because you had to prove your yield. You had to give them a yield. They went by, I believe, maybe a county average yield. You couldn't prove your yields. They had to get, and our yield was never over 128 bushel, I think was the highest it was on corn. And certain parts of the county got a little higher, and certain parts of the state, which had a little better ground. And we always complained because we always raised 150 bushel corn back, in the 80s, 90s. And we'd had 200 bushel one year. We had 200 bushel field. But you only got paid on what your base acres was and your
base yield.
The yield they had.
Gotcha.
The wheat yield wasn't much at all. It was terrible. So, every time I always felt every time you seemed like you got something from the government, it's going to cost you some way.